Here's a short walkthrough using Mixamo and Blender to get your ape literally up and running. Let's go. If you haven't already, grab the Blender file from your Bored Ape profile. We'll use this to get an FBX file to upload to Mixamo. Once inside Blender, open the file and save a copy. Since we'll be making edits to the file, it's always best to have an original just in case. Head over to the outliner on the right and minimize folders or scroll down as needed till you find the root folder. Click the drop-down arrow, then select the object with your ape's number. This is the file that contains the geometry of your ape along with its materials. With that mesh file selected, go to File, Export, and select FBX. Go to where it says Limit to and check the Selected Objects option. This makes sure we are only exporting the mesh that we currently have selected. Now let's make sure our textures go along with our file. Head to the top where it says Path Mode and select Copy from the drop-down menu. Now click the Embed Textures button on the right to copy them. Go down to the bottom and click the Export FBX to get our file. Let's head over to Mixamo. If you don't have an account yet, go ahead and do so. Mixamo has an insane number of fun and useful animations that you can rig your ape with. Once you're logged in, head over to the right and click on Upload Character to upload your ape model. Once the upload prompt appears, go over to your folder with your exported FBX file and drag and drop that into the bounding box. Then wait a few minutes for it to load. Next step is interacting with Mixamo's auto rig system. I noticed some textures just did not fully load. It seems Mixamo may not be able to load all material information. But after much experimentation, the textures always seem to load back in correctly once we import it back into our Blender scene. And if needed, we can always make some adjustments later. Click Next to begin the process. On the left are a series of circular markers to help the auto rig identify parts of the ape model. Just click and drag the nodes onto the appropriate parts of the body. Make sure to grab the left nodes and place them on the left side. Mixamo will mirror the node you placed for the right side so you don't have to do any guesswork. Use the magnified window on the top right to align your points. Make sure you're aligned both vertically and horizontally to get the best effect from the auto rig. Click Next and wait a few minutes while Mixamo does the rest. Once it's done, you'll be shown a preview. If you aren't happy with the results or you accidentally misaligned something, you can go back and try again. If all looks good, click Next. Scroll through the animations and find one that speaks to you. Select it and you will see some menus on the right that can affect your animation in a variety of ways. These adjust the speed, intensity, and the length of the animation as well. Once you find something you like, go ahead and click the download button. Set your frames per second according to your project needs. The other options can be left alone. Click download and save your file somewhere safe. Let's head back to your original Blender file. We can import the file here and take advantage of the lighting and background setup that Yuga included in the file. First, let's hide the previous ape from a viewport and prevent it from appearing in our final render as well. Click the eye and camera icon next to the root object and along with the object with your ape's number. Now head to File, Import, FBX, and select your new Mixamo FBX file. Once it's loaded, select the material preview box on the top right to see your textures. I seem to have had an issue with my 3D glasses texture. The lenses here appeared pink for some reason. To remedy this, I selected the ape object in the outliner, went down to the Materials tab, and found the corresponding texture by its title in the list above. I selected it, went down to the drop-down menu just below it, and clicked on the button with the material icon to the left. I found that there were two copies of the same texture. The small spherical color previews to the left of the texture showed one was pink and the other was white. Not sure how this happened, but I selected the other file to replace it and it seemed to fix the issue. If you have any issues with your materials after exporting, you could try switching out the textures accordingly if you see some duplicates in that list. Just make sure to save a copy of your Blender file if you haven't already so you don't overwrite your original file. Now let's get our camera set up and make a few adjustments so we can be ready to render. Click on the camera icon on the right side of the viewport. This puts us directly inside the camera's view and shows us the view for when we render. Go to the outliner on the right and click on the green camera icon on the camera object. This brings up the camera properties down at the bottom. Let's turn off depth of field for now. You can choose to leave it on, but you'll have to play with the focus distance a bit to make sure you're in range. Press the camera icon in the viewport again to exit the camera mode. Now that you've seen the view, adjust the camera as needed. With the camera selected, select the Move tool and use the axis to adjust the camera. Finally, go to the output properties and set your image size. With our view set up and our ape in place, let's strike a pose. Down at the bottom you will find a timeline. Press the spacebar to play your animation, and press spacebar again to stop it. You can also grab the blue marker and scroll across to view each frame more precisely. Once you got the perfect shot, leave the marker in its place and head over to Render and select Render Image. Then at the top of the render window, select Image and Save As to save your file. If you would rather export a video, then go back to the output properties at the bottom right, scroll down to Frame Range, and set the end number of your animation. This pertains to the animation's length. If you don't know this number, just head back to your Mixamo window and check the timeline of your chosen animation. Mixamo lists the timeline with the frame count instead of time. Find the animation length and set that as the end number. Scroll down to Output in the same Output Properties tab and select the save location for your video. Click on the File Format drop-down menu and select FFmpeg Video. Go down to Encoding and click on the Container drop-down menu and select MPEG-4. The video codec should be at H.264. And finally, set the output quality. If you have a lower-end system or a complex scene, lower the setting down. Then go to Render and select Render Animation. A window will pop up to show your progress, and once it's done, it will automatically send a copy to the file location you set earlier. Feel free to experiment and adjust the lighting and background elements. Make a copy of the background, rotate it, and turn it into a floor for Abe to walk on in case you want a full body shot. Then with that object selected, go to that object's material settings down at the bottom right and change the color using the base color option. Simply click the colored bar and choose your color. Select the lights and adjust their color as well in their own properties channel in the bottom right. Hopefully this will set you on a path to experiment more with your ape while learning some 3D along the way. Welcome to the other side, apes.